Hi, welcome to Adventure Airsoft. Today we are looking at a review for the National Airsoft Festival 2021, which I took part in over the fall weekend, and it's been about a month since I went, but normally I try and box things off quite quickly afterwards. But this time I've taken a bit of time to contemplate what we saw down there, what's been going on, because at the time when I left there, I was a little bit disappointed, I'm not going to lie to you. The reason why I was disappointed is because I was anticipating of what I've read and what I've seen before in pictures and who I spoke to, that it was a fantastic airsoft event, almost one of the best in the UK, and I was expecting it to be quite different. But we'll come on to that in a second. The first bit now, as you can see, we've walked from the campsite, which for ourselves, we were on the back end of the campsite. We've had a nice little walk in the morning. This is before all the games start and everything. You can see you've got some nice stalls set up. On the right hand side there, you've got a wooden building, which is the range. Fantastic setup there. You've got a TAC Sense team turning up, so you can go and shoot there all day long. You can see a lot of people on the way in there have got a lot of stalls set up with like a used kit, new kit, so people want to, have a peruse through there. That's really, really good. You've got a reenactment team set up there, which is fantastic. They had some really cool, genuine Kaiser stuff and some World War II and World War One bits and pieces. You had some new kit, and obviously you had the obligatory, MOD sales, used sales, that kind of stuff, and surplus bits and pieces. And the food there is quite incredible for the money. You've got the main desk here yourself where you can book on for all different teams. I'm here just asking for a secondary map because you need a few spare maps. As you can see there, the Ground Zero map, run by Ground Zero. The NAF map isn't NAF, it's quite a decent map of the area. And then the start point itself going up the hill. So I'll explain a bit more why my opinions are what they are, and hopefully I'll back it up, because I'm going to annoy a lot of people by saying this was not what I expected. I was a bit disappointed by the event. So as we're walking up the hill in a minute after we've loaded, after making the start, and everyone's getting into position in the morning, I was expecting this event to be first off an airsoft event, as in like a huge battle plan over 2 to 3 days, with fantastic scenarios and objectives to take, and it to be sort of relentless. Actually, what we got was a huge area that I can only liken to somewhere like Sherwood Forest because of the thick foliage you can see here now, and a lot of like sporadic buildings and sort of complexes and that kind of thing set up, which is great. I wasn't expecting it to be quite as open and such a big game, and what I mean by that is it has a lot of people just meandering around. Now for me, from my experience from sort of military exercises, that kind of thing, it'll be far better to have the whole area used but broken up into smaller objectives for you to have like smaller round robin events. So for example, you turn up to an area of AO, like it could be the red area that you saw a second ago, or a green area, whatever, and your objective is to 20 of you team, 20 of the other team face off against each other. You do these objectives, quick half an hour game, bang, and then that's it. And then those points, whoever the winner is, go towards your team's tally, and go on like that. And you just basically do a round robin all day of all different scenarios. This was basically just one big game over the 3 days, one massive game with 10 or 15 different respawn areas spotted around the map or around the AO. So we had a sniper there just to talk to what's going on. I had a sniper, and then I snuggled through the woodline here and managed to find him, and then did this. So got him, nice one. So basically, it's one big massive game, and a lot of people end up just meandering around, walking around for the whole time. Some people, there is objectives to do, don't get me wrong, over the two sort of couple of days there is set objectives that start at different times, so you have to get there at those times. But some people, depending what your fitness is like, to get from one side of the map to the other relatively unscathed to start on objectives can be quite difficult. So I think it could have been run better. For the first day that you can see here on the Saturday morning, I didn't see a marshal until probably gone lunchtime when I came back in. The fighting was pretty good, as you can see. It's made up of dense woodland, decent vegetation, a lot of ferns there, a lot of pine needles on the floor, pine trees and stuff. So you know the area was quite well taken care of. Obviously, quite a bit of forestation going on in some area to clear it up and let it grow, so it was good. Quite open as well in some areas, and generally the whole AO was pretty good. Was good. You know, it was a nice place to go and skirmish, and I'd probably go and skirmish again there if it was slightly smaller, broken up, as I said, round robins. But I expected, first off, it to be a complete airsoft, mad, you know, unbelievable immersion, but it wasn't. A lot of the time there was just people walking around that ended up like on their own, just like meandering around, walking around behind you, and they just walked around and, you know, just shot you in the back as they're just walking around the field. And I chatted to a couple of guys afterwards in the evening. So the evening exploits are really good in the fact that you have you have drinks with people, obviously, and the bar's quite cheap. That's fantastic. The live music on, which is really good. There are loads of stalls on there to sell weapons and blah blah blah. And chatting to them, they just said they just come down there and have a walk round. They literally just walk round all day. They don't bother doing the objectives, but they just walk round, just randomly shooting people. And for me, that's not what I go and do airsoft for. You know, it has to have some sort of structure to it. And there's nothing more annoying than you spending, like we are now, in this woodland here, which is like the Ardennes forest, you know, and you're working through a little bit. You know, you got a front line in front of you, and we're right pretty much in the centre of the map at the minute, and we're working from east to west, and then you could be working there for 20 minutes, half an hour. You're moving up, and then suddenly, randomly, this random person just walks past you all at the back and goes bang, 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 and then you're dead, and he just walks off into somewhere else. You know, it's just more annoying than anything. There's no, you know, and you ask people what they're doing, people spawn. Like if we end up doing that, we end up spawning, respawning in one of the respawn areas, like a generic respawn area, right in the centre of the enemy, you know, AO at the minute. And as soon as you walk out, you can get shot. So, yeah, a bit of a reverse camera there. That gun sounds mint. So this section you can see now is called the village, and this is a large sort of built-up area that sits in between, like a bit of a valley in the on the map. We're on the higher ground here, sort of putting some heavy fire down into the village, which leads us on to the next sort of issue that I didn't sort of like with the weekend, is that you end up having quite large amounts of Mexican standoffs by just exchanges of large amounts of fire. Now, obviously, some people don't mind that. You got a lot of snipers there that don't mind that as well, because they've got loads of cover to work with. And some of the snipers I spoke to love the cover and the opportunity to use their suits, etc., in the right places. But I got a bit fed up here of just sat there, you know, shooting them shooting us, and it's just annoying. So I like a bit of an attack. So a flanking attack on my own here. Decided just to go and try to take out that bunker just as a go. Because it was late on the day, and I thought, well, if it doesn't happen now, if I don't do something now, I'm just going to get up and go home, which is quite late on the Sunday, so it was getting close to sort of being bingo hour anyway. But we managed to snuggle ourselves away, and you can see there's a lot of rabbit runs here, little rat runs going through in and around the foliage, which is great, so you can always pick yourself through. And in the second, I actually stumbled on one of our own snipers. But you can see there's a lot of options for attacking, which is really good. But it's also a lot of options to sort of get lost in the firefight and end up missing the firefight you're in, and then you end up in someone else's. So if you don't know the area, it's quite difficult. I would have suggested taking a compass. I thought I brought one, but I didn't. So it was used to the tracks, and there is numbers on a majority of the large junctions out there, but you need to sort of pay attention and see where the sun is and try and work out where you're going from there. Yeah, so in here, we managed to stumble upon a sniper that was got a shoot in the back end of the village. So we are to the south of where I was before, looking over at those buildings, and just through the trees there you can see the bunker. And I asked the gentleman here whether he's got eyes on, so if you can get any shots on the bunker. It turns out that he can't, which is a bit odd really, because the bunker was the closest thing to us. He was trying to shoot in the buildings and not the bunker. But anyway, never mind. So yeah, after a little conflab with him, we end up trying to snuggle our way in. But by this time of the day, I thought, well, I'm pretty much done now soon. So yeah, I thought we'd have a crack at some in the bunker that were poking their heads up. So we do that successfully, thankfully. And there we go. And then quite quickly we sort of regroup and then move down to the inside that valley there, where I can compose myself and get ready in there and ready to chuck a grenade in. So you can see the valley here now, and the bunker sits on basically between a fork in the valley, right on top. Good place for a bunker really, but you know, not great for the attacking forces that aren't using the valley and waterways. So in a second I have a bit of a condor moment. So this is my stop short in a minute. So quick fresh mag on, and also I go further forward just a little bit here, and now it's time to prep the prep the grenade. So grenade is prepped in the hand, ready to rock and roll, and then we're moving forward, and then we're just going to post it. Sadly there's nobody on this side of the wall, so not great. I got a bit of fire from the trees, but didn't get hit. There's a couple of other guys in here. Now this is the bit that threw me, and this is where I went home. So I shot a guy there. I clearly saw the shots hit him, and he didn't take it. I then went to throw the grenade again, put another grenade around the corner to dummy him, and then got shot from behind in the ass. So that was me done. I've had enough then. But you can see how the gameplays go, and you can see what's available to you with bunkers, buildings, etc. This is footage taken on day 1, so we're back on the GoPro now, that overheated on the end of day 1. And this is quite a nice bit of gameplay. So we're in this sort of like Ardennes forest situation again, and we're moving forward. You can see it's quite thick foliage, quite good for snipers around here. And there's that dark bush directly to our 12 o'clock now. Has got 5 or 6 people in. And then basically it's been holding us off from gaining this ground all morning, because no one can see where this fire is coming from, because it's quite a dense bush. So I end up sort of snurgling my way around and getting into a position where I can try and take some of them out. I get a bit of incoming fire, but for some reason they stop shooting at me, and because I think they're engaging a friendly patrol that's running to the left hand side of me. So basically to my 9 o'clock now there is a path that runs about 100 yards away, sort of north to south. So they're engaging that, and they're also engaging friendlies to my 3 o'clock, about 300 yards away also. So I go round here and I end up getting a few of them. With a bit of persistence, and then not sort of seeing me very well, I end up clearing the bush out. But again, you can see if you're persistent with things here, you can get them done. The other thing that you should rely on, but you can't really rely on in this environment here, is that other people that are going to be there supporting you. I saw there's quite a reluctance compared to where I normally play in the northwest for people to move with fire, move with support. They're quite happy just to sit there. Some of them are quite happy to sit there and just fire rounds all day long. But yeah, I thoroughly recommend the site itself for smaller skirmishes, and I thoroughly recommend going down there for a festival. If you go there with it in your head as a festival with airsoft bolted on, and not an airsoft, a massive airsoft event that has got a festival bolted on, because you'd be severely disappointed. But yes, it was cracking in some areas, and also disappointing in others. So I think the airsoft can be better. I'm probably going to get shot for saying that, but there's always ways to improve, and I think a round robin would make it a bit more interesting for people that just want to enjoy an actual airsoft environment with structure to it. For me, it was over lunchtime before I even saw anybody else, any other marshals. We never saw them on this side of the AO, so not great. To that end, then, that is the end of the review. Hopefully it's been useful for you. Please subscribe and leave some comments of where you go, what your thoughts were with the Airsoft Festival, any other Airsoft festivals you've been to or currently going to go to, in the comments below. And hopefully you can give us a like and a sub, and look out for some more content. So thanks very much for watching or listening, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Take care.